Have you ever wondered why some people enter your life like free winds, pulling you out of your comfort zone and igniting a fierce fire of life in your heart? They don't need to try to attract attention. Just by being present, they make the entire space feel illuminated. That is Sagittarius, the zodiac sign that doesn't just live but inspires others to live. In this world, where many people forget who they are, Sagittarius appears like a reminder from the universe. That freedom is the soul of life, that truth is the path, and that unconditional love is the most primal instinct. In the next 30 minutes, I will take you deep into 5 qualities that make Sagittarius unparalleled. Traits that not only define them but also help them become a guiding light for others. This is not merely a list, but a journey of feeling, where you will see yourself through the lens of a Sagittarius or learn how to love, appreciate, and connect more deeply with a Sagittarius who is present in your life. Do not look away, because what you are about to discover may change the way you see the world and yourself. If you feel ready to begin this journey, leave a comment saying, "I am the light that cannot be extinguished." A comment is not only a statement but also a way to connect with the universal energy guiding you toward success. If you find these messages meaningful, please like and share this video to spread this positive energy to more people. Boundless adventurous spirit, when the heart is the compass of the soul. Sagittarius is the embodiment of pure adventure. It is no coincidence that their symbol is the archer, half human, half horse, drawing a bow toward a distant horizon. That image is not just a beautiful symbol of movement but a metaphor for the unending journey Sagittarius pursues. The journey of exploring life, expanding worldviews, and ultimately returning to the essence of their soul. The first thing you will feel from a Sagittarius is the energy of movement. They don't stay still. They always crave to go, to see, to understand. That movement may occur on the physical plane, like long journeys, cross-country adventures, or mysterious distant lands. But sometimes, their adventurous spirit is even stronger at the level of consciousness. They travel through intellect, through questions, through the desire to touch things beyond ordinary reality. Ruled by Jupiter, the planet of expansion, wisdom, and fortune, Sagittarius cannot live a small life. They are born to expand boundaries, not just geographical ones, but also the boundaries of the mind and spirit. This explains why a Sagittarius often feels suffocated when confined to a framework. Whether it's a dull office job or a relationship that forces them to live contrary to their true nature. For Sagittarius, every day is an opportunity to learn and experience something new. They are not afraid of failure. They are not afraid to take the wrong path. To them, as long as they are moving, trying, learning, nothing is meaningless. This is why people born under this sign often live a colorful and surprising life. They may change careers multiple times. They may live in many countries. They may start over without regret. Because to them, change is not a loss. It is the way they live true to themselves. However, what makes Sagittarius's adventurous spirit truly unique is not where they go but how they see life. Sagittarius can view everything that happens, whether good or bad, as part of their personal growth journey. To them, a trip is not just for checking in, but to understand something deeper about people, culture, history, and about themselves. Even when lost in a strange land, Sagittarius still smiles. They don't see it as a problem. They see it as a chance to experience something new they've never known. That optimism is closely tied to their adventurous mindset. And this is what makes them adaptable in any situation. Sagittarius doesn't sit and complain. They look for a way through. They believe that something better always awaits ahead. This spirit makes them wonderful companions, true inspirers. Being around a Sagittarius, you'll feel life opening up. You'll want to try new things, step out of your comfort zone, and be ready to live a bigger life. They don't just encourage you to travel or change jobs. They encourage you to live true to who you are. Whether you're standing at a crossroads in life or wavering between major choices, a Sagittarius won't tell you what to choose. They will simply place a hand on your shoulder, look you in the eye, and say, "Follow where your heart leads." And the magical thing is, when they say that, you'll believe it. You might ask, does this adventurous spirit make Sagittarius unstable? The answer is, no. Because their adventure doesn't come from impulsiveness, but from a deep calling of the soul. They are not running away from anything. They are seeking what makes them feel connected, feel true. Sagittarius can love passionately, be genuinely committed, and stay if a place allows them to be themselves. But if constrained, if limited, they will leave, not out of lack of love, but because they cannot exist in a place that dries out their soul. What is admirable is that even though their life flows like waves, sometimes fierce, sometimes gentle, they still maintain their generosity, positivity, and gratitude for all they've experienced. This helps them attract miraculous opportunities and special companions. It's as if the universe rewards them for living true to their soul. And as an unchangeable law, when you live authentically, the universe arranges everything to support you. Maybe you've met a Sagittarius, someone who made you want to live differently. Maybe you are a Sagittarius, always feeling that the world still has so much waiting for you to explore. In either case, this quality, boundless adventurous spirit, is a reminder that life is meant to be experienced, to be learned from, to be traveled not only with your feet but with your heart and soul. If you are feeling tired, stuck, or trapped in the repetitive cycle of daily life, ask yourself, is the Sagittarius spirit within me asleep? And if you can, awaken it. Do something you've never done. Book a ticket to a place you've never been. Read a book you never thought you'd read. Open your heart to a new friend. Ask yourself again, who am I, what do I want? And what is the next horizon calling my name? And if something inside you is urging you, let it speak. Leave a comment. I was born to fly higher, as a promise to your own soul. A comment is not just a simple action. It is a declaration to the universe that you are ready for a new chapter full of expansion, exploration, and meaning. Unshakable faith, when hope is the sacred flame in the dark. If there were only one word to describe the soul of Sagittarius, it would be faith. Not shallow optimism, and certainly not blind belief. The faith of Sagittarius is like a quiet flame burning in their heart, steady, persistent, and impossible to extinguish, no matter how hard life's storms try to bury it. I once saw a Sagittarius rise after losing everything: career, love, pride. But what amazed me was not that they rebuilt their life, but how they did it, with a sincere smile and eyes full of gratitude. They did not blame life. They did not drown in complaints. They simply said, I believe this happened to lead me to something better. And then, somehow, that better thing truly came. Because for Sagittarius, faith is not something they try to have, it is something ingrained in the very structure of their soul. Ruled by Jupiter, the planet of growth, blessings, and optimism, Sagittarius sees the world differently. They believe everything happens for a reason. They believe in a higher force, whether you call it God, the universe, or destiny, guiding them step by step. And it is this deep belief that allows them to keep going, even when they see nothing but darkness ahead. Not everyone is born with this ability. In a world where many people lose hope after just a few setbacks, Sagittarius keeps the light in their eyes, the energy in their voice, and a heart that never runs out of love. This doesn't mean they've never been hurt or never fallen. On the contrary, they are often those who have faced the most turmoil. But with every stumble, they learn something new, grow stronger, and most importantly, believe even more in the path they are on. This is what makes Sagittarius a lighthouse for those who are lost. They don't try to fix you. They don't advise you with logic. They simply show up as a source of positive energy, making you feel, if they can still believe, then so can I. And the miracle is, just by believing, you begin to see the light. Because what you believe in most strongly is what will become your reality. I once heard a Sagittarius say, "I don't need to know how. I just need to remember why I started." That sentence struck a deep chord within me. Because in the most uncertain moments of life, what we need is not a perfect plan, but a strong enough reason to keep going. And Sagittarius, somehow, always finds that reason. We are living in an age of anxiety. Negative news, social upheaval, personal crises, all act like undercurrents eroding people's trust. But then, amidst all that doubt, Sagittarius appears as living proof of the opposite, that faith still exists. That hope is not outdated. And that a believing heart can change fate itself. From an astrological perspective, Sagittarius carries the energy of the seeker, the spiritual traveler. And in that journey, they learn that life doesn't always go as expected. But the important thing is not the outcome. The important thing is to keep moving forward, because one day, light will appear through the fog. When you live with faith, you don't need to be sure everything will succeed. You just need to know this: whatever comes to you is necessary for you to become the best version of yourself. Faith helps Sagittarius stand firm in love. Even after being hurt, they still love wholeheartedly. Faith helps them keep chasing dreams, even after failures. Faith keeps them from becoming bitter, from blaming, from shutting down. And that's what makes them different, makes them unmatched in a world full of doubt and fear. Perhaps the greatest lesson Sagittarius teaches us is not how to win, but how not to give up. How to keep your heart whole, even after walking through 1,000 shards. How to live as if you were protected by an invisible force guiding you exactly where you need to be. If you are going through a difficult time, remember this: you don't need to see the whole path to know you are on the right one. Just hold onto a small flame, faith, and take one step at a time. Like Sagittarius, you can choose to believe that behind the storm is a brilliant sunrise waiting. And if today, you need a reminder that you are strong enough, resilient enough, and worthy enough to overcome, then this is that reminder. Powerful truth. You can lose everything. But if you hold on to faith, you've never truly lost anything. Deep call to interaction. If you have ever stood up again because of some form of faith, no matter how small, share it in the comments. Write, "I believe because I was born to rise." You never know, your story may be exactly what someone else needs to hear right now. And as a sacred rule, when you plant hope, you will receive light in return. Like the video and share it if it touched your heart, to spread this positive energy to those quietly fighting in the dark. Spiritual wisdom, when learning becomes a healing journey. One of the things that makes Sagittarius truly different is not just their intelligence, but their constant desire to understand more deeply, not just events, but the meaning behind everything that happens. To them, knowledge is not for superiority. Knowledge is for healing, for connection, for understanding. And this profound need to learn has made them one of the wisest and most trustworthy souls among the 12 zodiac signs. They never stop learning. But what they learn isn't just found in books. They learn from failure, from pain, from people they once loved and lost. Sagittarius can sit with a stranger on an ordinary afternoon and listen to that person's life story with complete presence. No judgment. No interruption. Just wholehearted listening. And from that, they see a part of themselves, and gain a little more understanding of life. The reason Sagittarius craves knowledge is not for fame. It's because they feel an inner calling pushing them to understand, to know, so they are not limited by fear or ignorance. Jupiter, their ruling planet, represents philosophy, belief, and expansion. This is why, for Sagittarius, life is never just about money or survival. It is always a bigger question. Who am I in this universe? And they will not stop searching for that answer. From one lifetime to the next. There is something special about Sagittarius that you can easily notice. They can talk to anyone, rich or poor, devout or atheist, local or foreign, because they don't just study knowledge. They learn to see the world with eyes free from bias. That is spiritual wisdom, a kind of understanding that comes from immersing yourself in experience, not just from reading. And even more beautiful, they are always willing to share that wisdom without keeping it to themselves. I once witnessed a Sagittarius walk away from a broken relationship not in pain, but in gratitude. They said, "That person didn't come to stay, but to teach me an important lesson." In that moment, I was speechless. Because most of us, when we break, just want to forget. But not Sagittarius. They want to understand why it happened. They want to learn from it. And then they move forward, not carrying resentment, but carrying a lesson transformed into growth. What is precious is that with every lesson they learn, they pass it on to others in a completely natural way. They don't preach. They just tell stories, and in those stories, you see yourself. Because knowledge shared from the heart always has the power to touch another soul. And Sagittarius does that better than anyone. This is why many people turn to Sagittarius when they feel lost or confused. Sagittarius doesn't say, "You should do this or that." They ask you, "What are you feeling?" and through questions, through deep thoughts, they help you find the answer within yourself. They don't heal you. They give you the light so you can heal yourself. And if you listen closely to what a Sagittarius says, whether in a short coffee chat or a spontaneous conversation, you'll notice, behind every word is a deep journey they've walked. They don't talk much about themselves. But you'll feel it, they've passed through darkness, searched for light, and it is that journey that taught them things no school ever could. My personal belief, after years of knowing Sagittarians, is this: true wisdom isn't about how many books you've read. It lies in your ability to transform experience into a lesson, and then use that lesson to uplift others, without needing recognition for it. And that is exactly what Sagittarius does, not just once, but for a lifetime. Wisdom is not about knowing all the answers. It is about daring to face your own true questions, with an honest heart and an open soul. If you are going through a time of confusion, full of unanswered questions, remember this: the very act of searching is a sign that you are growing. And if you are ready to learn something deeper from your own journey, write in the comments, "I learned to heal. I understand to be free." That is not just a sentence. It is a doorway for the energy of true wisdom to begin flowing into your life. If you feel that this video has awakened something in your mind or heart, share it. Because perhaps, in a moment that seems random, you might be the one to plant a seed of knowledge and healing for someone in need. Remember, the light you light for others is the same light that will guide you at the most unexpected moment. An open heart, when giving, is a spiritual instinct. If you've ever had a Sagittarius friend, then perhaps you've experienced this feeling, being fully accepted, unconditionally. You don't need to be strong. You don't need to be right. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be yourself, and that alone is enough for them to open their heart. To Sagittarius, loving is not a duty. It is a natural reaction. An expression of a vast soul. We often think that to be loved, we have to prove something. But when you meet a true Sagittarius, you'll realize something profound. True love asks nothing from you, it only needs your existence. And that is the energy Sagittarius brings. No judgment. No expectations. Only deep acceptance from an open heart. From an astrological point of view, Sagittarius is a fire sign with a yang nature. But it does not burn to destroy, it burns to warm. They carry vibrant, kind, cheerful energy, and underneath it is a deep compassion. Jupiter, their ruling planet, symbolizes generosity, blessings, and expansion. This makes Sagittarius not only capable of loving others, but also of forgiving, letting go, and giving without expecting anything in return. I once met a Sagittarius who was willing to sit silently for hours just to listen to a friend talk about old pain. Not because they had free time, but because they understood, when you are hurting, what you need is not advice, but someone who stays by your side without leaving. And they did it not for praise, but because their heart knows no other way but to love. The generosity of Sagittarius does not lie in material gifts. It lies in the way they make others feel, seen, truly recognized for who they are. In a world where so many people must wear masks to survive, being able to be yourself next to someone is a priceless gift. And Sagittarius, with a boundless heart, offers that gift with great generosity. I believe the reason Sagittarius can love so deeply is because they have known pain. They understand loneliness, being misunderstood, being hurt. But instead of closing themselves off, they choose to open up even more. They don't let old wounds make them hard. They let them become bridges to understand others better, to love more deeply. Because they know, only love can truly heal everything. The kindness of Sagittarius sometimes confuses people, because we are used to everything coming with conditions. But to Sagittarius, kindness is not a strategy. It is truth. They are not kind to be repaid. They are kind because it is true to who they are. And when they live in alignment with themselves, they feel at peace. Even more precious is this, although they help many people, Sagittarius rarely takes credit. They do it and let it go. They do not let their goodness become a burden. This makes the love they give feel light, gentle, and easy to receive. No pressure. No, I did this for you. Only, I am here when you need. There is one big lesson I learned from Sagittarius friends: not everyone needs you to fix them. Sometimes, people just need you to be there, truly, sincerely, and not leave when they are no longer shining. And it is that unconditional presence that heals the deepest wounds. Kindness does not need to be loud. It only needs to be sincere. And sometimes, an open heart is enough to change a soul that is falling apart. You may notice that in friendship, in love, and even in random connections in life, Sagittarius always leaves something behind that makes others feel empowered. Whether it's a gentle word, a silent hug, or a moment when they stand up for you in a crowd, it is all an expression of a heart that knows how to love with its entire being. And the most wonderful thing is, they never ask you to become someone else to be loved. Sagittarius loves you with everything you are, your cracks, your mistakes, your unfinished parts. Because they know, every soul is beautiful when it is loved in the right way. If you've ever met a Sagittarius who touched your heart with unconditional kindness and goodness, share that story below. Leave a comment saying, "I give from a heart that expects nothing in return." You may become the source of hope for someone who is slowly losing faith in humanity. And if you feel this video brings something beautiful to your soul, spread it. Because acts that come from love always find their way back to you, at the moment you need them most. Freedom is a religion, when living your truth is a sacred act. Sagittarius does not live to be applauded. They live to stay loyal to the voice within. And in a world where many are trading their inner truth for external acceptance, that is truly sacred. To Sagittarius, freedom is not just a right. Freedom is a survival need. Just as trees need soil, birds need sky, and rivers need to flow, the soul of Sagittarius needs space to breathe, to fly, to be itself. Anything that limits their natural growth, whether it's a job, a relationship, or an imposed belief, makes them feel suffocated. We often associate the word freedom with grand things: escape, revolution, struggle. But for Sagittarius, Freedom starts with the smallest things, speaking their truth without fear of judgment. Saying no to what doesn't feel right without guilt. Being able to cry when sad and laugh when happy without needing permission. It is these seemingly small things that are the most powerful signs of a soul that refuses to be chained. Maybe you've seen a Sagittarius walk away from a stable life to start over, simply because they felt that place no longer reflected their true essence. And maybe, from the outside, you thought they were crazy. But if you could step into their heart, you'd understand, they cannot live pretending. They would rather lose everything than trade their inner freedom for outward security. Not because they are selfish, but because they understand a deep truth: you cannot give anything beautiful to the world if you are living in restriction, falsehood, and pressure. A Sagittarius only truly shines when they are allowed to be themselves, and in that moment, the light they give to others is real, not distorted. What's incredible is that very freedom attracts others. Because when you live your truth, you inspire others to do the same. Sagittarius doesn't try to change anyone. But their presence is a silent reminder: you don't need permission to be yourself. And because of that, they don't just live, they liberate. Jupiter, the ruling planet of Sagittarius, doesn't just speak of expanded vision, but expanded soul. Sagittarius believes, if your soul longs for something, the universe placed that desire in you for a reason. They don't try to suppress that desire. They follow it, like a pilgrimage back to their true self. I once asked a Sagittarius friend, "Why aren't you as stable as others?" They laughed and said, "Stability doesn't mean being tied down. I choose stability within freedom, not freedom inside a cage." That answer stayed with me for a long time. Because it made me realize, some people simply aren't meant for a normal life. They don't need much, but they need truth. And when Sagittarius loves, they love in that same spirit. They love willingly, with mutual respect. They do not possess. They do not control. They choose to stay when the heart still wants, and they leave when love is no longer a place of growth, but a prison. Love, to them, is freedom together, not a two-person cell. To Sagittarius, the ideal relationship is not one without storms, but one where both people can grow into better versions of themselves. Without being stifled, without shrinking to fit into someone else's mold. Freedom is not doing whatever you want. It is daring to live according to the call of your soul, even when that makes you feel out of place in the world. And yes, the journey of living your truth is not easy. There will be days when you feel lonely. There will be people who don't understand you, who don't accept you. But for Sagittarius, nothing is more frightening than losing themselves just to please others. They know well, better to be truly alone than to live a life that isn't your own. And the strange thing is, the more they live their truth, the more they attract people who are also real. They create an energetic field that only compatible souls can touch. And just like that, the universe naturally leads them to the right pieces. No effort needed. Only honesty. If you've ever walked away from something that no longer fit, whether it was a job, a relationship, or an old version of yourself, leave a comment. I choose to live my truth without needing permission. And if you're feeling confused, remember, being yourself is not a crime. It is a gift you give to your own soul. If this video awakens something deep within you, share it as an act of love, for yourself and for those who may need the reminder that freedom begins within. Sagittarius, the untamable soul. When you see a Sagittarius, you are not just seeing a person. You are witnessing a living journey, where freedom is the compass, where faith is the light, where knowledge is the magic, where the heart is always ready to give and never locked away by fear. Sagittarius does not live to compete. They live to explore, to understand, to love, to feel the world in the deepest and most authentic way. They live as if every day is a door, leading to a more expanded, more understanding, and more liberated version of themselves. We are living in an era where so many people have begun to forget the voice within. Swept away by expectations, trapped by prejudice, bound by the musts and shoulds society imposes. But then, amidst all that chaos, Sagittarius appears like a breeze, reminding you. You can be different. You can be free. And you deserve to live a life true to your soul's essence. The human journey is not easy. We get hurt. We fall. We get lost. But in those moments, a Sagittarius quality awakens in you, urging you to rise. To find the light, to open your heart, to learn the lesson, and then, move forward. Because the deepest essence of Sagittarius does not lie in a zodiac sign. It lies in the awakening within each of us. Anyone, at any moment, can live like a Sagittarius. When you dare to walk your own path. When you hold on to faith even in the dark. When you keep learning in order to heal. When you give without calculating. And when you are completely honest with yourself.